All right, so let's talk about one of the most legendary speeches ever given. Back in 2005, Steve Jobs got up in front of the graduates at Stanford University. But this wasn't your typical boring commencement address. Instead, he basically distilled his entire life's wisdom down into just three simple stories. And today, we're going to dive into that speech because it's pretty much a blueprint for how to live a life filled with passion, resilience, and real purpose. Think about that for a second. Your whole life can change. That one line, it really gets to the heart of his whole message, doesn't it? The idea that just a shift in how you see things, maybe sparked by a simple story, can change absolutely everything. It's a huge promise, for sure. So let's see how he makes his case. And that's it. No grand theories, no complex formulas for success, just three personal stories. And through these stories, he gets at some profound truths about creativity, about failure, and, what it really truly means to live. Okay, so the first story, he calls this one connecting the dots. And it's all about trust. It's about having faith that all these seemingly random, disconnected things happening in your life will one day, somehow, weave together and make perfect sense. So get this. After just 6 months at a really expensive college, Jobs dropped out. But he didn't leave. He kind of became a drop-in, sleeping on his friends' floors, returning Coke bottles just for food money, and walking 7 miles across town every Sunday just to get one decent meal. He had no clear path, no plan at all. The only things guiding him were his own curiosity and intuition. So, since he was freed from all the required classes he was supposed to take, he made a decision that seemed completely impractical. He dropped into a calligraphy course. I mean, calligraphy. It had zero obvious application for his life at the time. It was just a pure act of curiosity, a fascination with the art of beautiful lettering. Well, fast forward 10 years. All of a sudden, the value of that useless class became crystal clear. While he was designing the very first Macintosh computer, all that knowledge about beautiful lettering came flooding back. And because of that, the Mac became the first computer with beautiful, proportional fonts. It's wild, right? If he hadn't dropped out and stumbled into that one class, our personal computers might not have the amazing typography they have today. So this is the crucial point. You have to trust in something. Your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever you want to call it. You have to trust that the dots will somehow connect down the road. And believing that, well, that gives you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you way off the well-worn path. His second story is this really dramatic tale of love and loss. I mean, it's about building something absolutely incredible only to have it stripped away from you in the most public way you can imagine. It's a story about how passion is really the only fuel that can get you through that kind of fire. In just 10 years, Jobs and Wozniak grew Apple from just two guys in a garage into a $2 billion company with 4,000 employees. He was literally at the top of the world.
And then the unthinkable happened. After a power struggle with the CEO he had hired, Steve Jobs was fired, publicly, from the very company that was his life's work. He was, as you can imagine, completely devastated.
But after the initial shock wore off, something shifted in him. He realized that the immense pressure of being successful was just gone. He was free. He could be a beginner again, unburdened by expectations. And this feeling, this lightness, allowed him to enter one of the most creative periods of his entire life. So, in the 5 years after he got fired, his creative energy was just unleashed. He started a company called Next, which would later be bought by Apple, bringing him back. He founded Pixar, which created Toy Story and completely revolutionized animation forever. And he met the love of his life, Laureen. He actually said that getting fired was the best thing that could have ever happened to him.
And this is really the heart of the second story. Life is going to hit you in the head with a brick sometimes, but you can't lose faith. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. So, if you haven't found it yet, you have to keep looking. Don't settle.
And now for the final story. And this one is maybe the most profound. It's about how Jobs used the constant awareness of his own mortality as his most important tool for making the big choices in life. For 33 years, he would look in the mirror every single morning and ask himself this question. And if the answer was no for too many days in a row, he knew he needed to change something. It was his ultimate filter for what truly mattered.
And then this whole abstract concept became terrifyingly real. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Doctors told him to get his affairs in order. They give him 3 to 6 months to live. This was his death sentence.
He lived with that diagnosis for a full day, preparing to say his goodbyes. But then, a biopsy revealed it was a very rare form of pancreatic cancer that was actually curable with surgery. The surgery was a success, and after staring death in the face and coming back, he saw it all so clearly. Death is life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. And this is the great liberation. When you remember you're going to die, all the external expectations, all the pride, all the fear of embarrassment or failure, they just fall away. You're left with only what is truly important. He said, "You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart." Jobs wrapped up his speech with this simple, powerful mantra that really ties all these ideas together. And it was a final message he pulled from a publication that was like a Bible for his generation, the Whole Earth Catalog. Back in the mid-70s, the catalog published its final issue. And on the back cover, there was just this simple image, a photograph of an early morning country road. And beneath it, a simple farewell message. Stay hungry, stay foolish. That was their final message. It was a wish to always be curious, to never be satisfied, to always be willing to try things people say can't be done. It was a wish Jobs made for himself, and it was the one he passed on to those graduates that day. And that's really the question this incredible speech leaves all of us with. As you go through your life, what seemingly random skills are you picking up? What passions are you chasing? What risks are you taking? You might not see the pattern now, but you have to trust that one day when you're looking back, the dots will connect.